we're gonna start it off with the biggest topic of the day for real, right? James Harden being traded to the New York Nets. Now, bear with me, Brooklyn Nets. My fault. The Brooklyn Nets. Now, bear with me because a lot of stuff went down as far as within this trade. Now, Banks, I know you was the first one I actually did that broke it to me for make me to actually look at the details. But this was a trade between the Houston Rockets, the Brooklyn Nets, the Indiana Pacers, and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
The Houston Rockets would receive at first Caris LeVert, but the Houston Rockets ended up trading him to the Indiana Pacers for Victor Oladipo. Also from the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Rockets would receive Dante Exum. The forward from Brooklyn,
Kirkic.
Thank you, Kirkic. I was gonna butcher that up like a mug. And the Cavaliers ended up receiving from the Brooklyn Nets center Jared Allen and forward Tyron Prince, and draft picks for the Houston Rockets.
Many draft picks.
Yes, they would receive. The Rockets would receive Brooklyn's first round draft picks, the 2022 first round draft pick, the 2024 draft pick, the 2026 draft pick, but they would also swap picks with the Brooklyn Nets, the 2021 pick, the 2023 pick, the 2025 pick, and the 2027 pick. And the Cleveland Cavaliers will receive the 2022 first round pick and a future second round pick from the Indiana Pacers. And the Brooklyn Nets would just receive a 2024 second round pick.
Man, NBA GM's out here talking behind everybody's back. To orchestrate something like that's weeks in the making. It sounds like to me, and that sounds like Brooklyn is trying to make the equivalent of their big three move that the Miami Heat made a couple years ago. This is their equivalent. Now, based off talent alone, that's a squad. Now, the real question is, Brooklyn has given up 4 first-round picks and are engaged in 4 first-round pick swaps, which means that I believe the Houston Rockets have the option of either using their pick or swapping their pick with Brooklyn. So either way, Brooklyn is at a deficit of picks for the next 8 years. The next 8 years, they are at a deficit in terms of the first round of the draft. So, boy, I do not know how this is going to work. It's a lot of talent, but I don't. Is James Harden planning on getting into shape at any point in this season?
He has a reason now.
Like, is Kyrie? Does he still want to play basketball? Like, there are so many questions. This has got to be by far the moodiest big three I've ever seen in my entire life. That's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I thought the trade was I think the trade works out if Kyrie gets his mind right. I know everybody's poking fun saying how they gave up their bench and that. You gotta understand, Brooklyn gave away 2 guys that are starters on other teams, but they're not starters on the Nets. Like, Caris LeVert doesn't work with the Nets. Jared Allen, I think, was the biggest piece in this entire trade because he's a big and he plays really good. He's a really good center. He's probably one of the best up-and-coming centers in the league. Mm-hmm. So that was an asset. And people got to understand, when you're involved in trade talks and you're trying to make moves, it requires pieces for pieces. You can't just trade crumbs for shit. These teams are going to want some type of collateral, and that unfortunately had to be Jared Allen as well as Caris LeVert. And then you got to also talk about Oladipo getting out of Indiana. Everybody that moved today were in situations they didn't want to be a part of. Jared Allen actually had an issue with not being a starter on the Brooklyn Nets. Caris LeVert had issues with being in trade talks over and over and over. Oladipo is very unhappy in Indiana. So everybody that got moved, it's expected. It was required. I feel like Houston is ultimately going to end up winning this trade, even if Brooklyn wins a championship, because Houston set themselves up for the future, like big time.
Oh boy.
Houston pulled a Miami Dolphins move. They have 4 first-round draft picks in the next couple of years. That is ridiculous. Like, they finessed that game completely.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
they did exactly what a team should do when you're trading a superstar cornerstone of your franchise. When you're trading somebody in their prime, like James Harden. James Harden's not even 30 yet. So, you know, I got to tip my hat off to Houston for that, man. They definitely finessed the entire league just then. Because now, in terms of Brooklyn, I mean, who knows what we expect from these guys? I expect based on the trade, it's championship or bust. I mean, we all know that now. But the problem we have in hand here is the fact that Kyrie is just not there. Mentally, he's just not there. Mentally, physically, he's just not there. And there's also reports that have come out, too, saying that Kyrie, the reason why he's sitting out, this is crazy.
Are his chakras misaligned?
Not even just his chakras.
Okay.
The reason why he's missing out time is because...
did the crystal store close? Why isn't he playing basketball?
Man, listen, this is crazy. Apparently, he was upset because he wasn't involved with the hiring of Steve Nash.
Oh my gosh.
That's one.
Okay.
2, they say that him and KD are at risk.
You know, it's interesting
Funny,
to bring
right?
up because I don't think Kyrie has been in a situation that he hasn't found a reason to get up out of. And as talented as he is, he is just one of them dudes. And to be honest with you, James Harden may be one of them dudes as well. Just because, I mean, the dude's clearly overweight. So, for me, man, you are banking your franchises. The next eight drafts, you're banking on James Harden, Kyrie, and KD getting you more than one championship. Like, if they did all this for one championship, I don't know if it's really worth it. But I'm looking at it, you know, Harden's 31. They all basically in the same age range. Listen, man, when you got KD and Kyrie, you know a move is on the horizon to do a big 3. Now, they'll dominate the regular season. That's if they actually decide to play games, because trust me, they will all be taking very regular breaks throughout the season. Kyrie is basically on vacation right now. So, is it from a culture perspective? Is there enough there to keep everybody focused on the goal?
Not
right?
right
This
now.
isn't Miami where you got Pat Riley and Alonzo Mourning and Udonis Haslem to keep and Dwayne Wade to keep everybody focused, and LeBron James. All these people are focused on winning. Do you have enough of that in Brooklyn to keep all these pieces in line and also keep them all happy? Because we've seen what James Harden will do when he's not happy. He goes to the Waffle House. We see what Kyrie Irving does when he's not happy. He goes to the Crystal Store. So, boy, this has great potential to be something that can really work out, but this has potential to blow up magnificently. So we're going to have to see.
So let me ask you guys this, as far as the Houston Rockets are concerned, looking at their current starting 5 right now, would you change their current status from, I believe we had them sitting at like the 7th or 8th seed when we had this conversation before about potential trades for James Harden? Would you bump them up in the West playoff picture?
Well, the East playoff picture.
Yeah,
West.
No, I'm talking about Brooklyn.
No, I'm talking about the Rockets.
Oh,
Oh,
you about Rockets?
The West. Yes,
To be
as far
honest,
as yeah.
I like Houston better as an overall team after this trade. Because you're talking about, you got Boogie Cousins, you got John Wall, now you got Oladipo, you got Christian Wood.
I like Christian Wood. That boy's bad.
They still got PJ Tucker. Like, they have an actual NBA
Eric
roster
Gordon.
now. Eric Gordon. They have a legitimate NBA roster, and I think this team will work together way better.
They got something to prove. James Harden
Yeah.
turned his back on them. I don't know if you guys read the comments from DeMarcus Cousins.
I heard it.
So they're all pissed off with James Harden.
Yeah.
that went down.